I'm here with a Rique Santiago, aka Lefty Henry, and I wanted to interview this gentleman for so long. As you could see, so many awards this man has won. You mind me calling you Lefty Henry? Or Henry? Henry, when did you first start playing handball?
I was outside my window one time when I lived with my mother back in the days, and I saw these kids playing in the street, playing handball. I didn't know it was handball. I was just looking at them hit the ball to the wall, and I'm like, that looks interesting. Because I used to play Chinese, which sometimes they call it Chinese handball, but it's not really Chinese handball. It's just Chinese. And, you know, you hit the ball to the wall, but you got to bounce the ball first to the floor. So I already had a coordination of hitting the ball to the wall in a certain way. So I went downstairs and I tried the game. The guys didn't want to play against me because I didn't know how to play. But when I hit the ball, I was like, hey, I know how to hit this ball. Whoa, you know. So from that day on, I started going to the parks and trying.
How old were you at that point?
I was 12 years old.
You were 12. And what was like that home area park for you?
My home area was the park my mother didn't want me to go to, which was Knickerbocker Park, aka Maria Hernandez Park.
Yes.
Back in the days, it was a tough park. So she didn't want me there.
Gotcha.
So I used to go to Carbines.
Okay.
Which is now owned by Grover Cleveland High School, and it's private. You can't play there no more.
Gotcha.
But those were my home courts when I was young. And I played against some guys there, and they played paddle, and they played good handball. And there was this one guy who was like probably 6'3", 6'2", and I couldn't beat him. I used to call him Bird. Great guy. And he used to play me and stuff. And then I got good playing him, taking my beatings. And then one day, this guy named D, may he rest in peace, good guy. He showed me about corners. And I started hitting corners, even though I didn't know the whole game, but hitting the corners was like helping a lot, you know? And I started getting good from there. And I kept playing.
So, those home parks that you grew up in, how'd you first get that taste of like the tournaments or the trophies you won, and how'd you get interested in that?
Actually, through the times that I played in those parks, they were local parks which now that I'm older, I realized they were just, the Duckies play there, you know what I mean? Like, you know, they weren't really good players there. To them they were good, but they really weren't good. They were just decent players that were locals. So for like 5-6 years, I didn't play in tournaments. I just played at the park.
Gotcha.
You know, so I didn't know nothing about the tournaments, how to get into them or anything. I played at the park, and I used to see the flyers sometimes put on, but I was like, oh, I don't know who wants to play with me and whatever, so I didn't bother with it.
Gotcha.
Until I started getting into controversies with my junior high school teacher. He thought he was better than me in handball because he was an adult.
Gotcha.
And I was a kid.
Right.
So he felt I'm not losing to no kid. So we would go back and forth about it in a very competitive, fun way. And he finally played me at the schoolyard, which people actually still play there to this day. And I beat him.
It's a small ball or a big ball?
Big ball. I never really played ball that much at that time.
Gotcha.
Until later on.
A lot of the schools, they kind of require you to play the small ball at the beginning, a lot of the high schools and stuff like this. But this guy was teaching you, he thought he was going to beat you in big ball. And
yeah.
What was the final score, you remember?
No, that was so long ago, I don't know the score. But I beat him, and he got some high school kid to play me. Which his name was Carlito. He played pink ball. He was a great, amazing player.
Gotcha.
Pink ball. And he paid me Blick Blue, and he had like nice shoes on. Like they were sneaker shoes, Playboy shoes, and he had the old school Lees and the VVDs wearing. So he didn't really want to sweat. So he noticed I was tough, and he didn't want to sweat because I guess he had a date or whatever afterwards because he was hanging out like he was going to go on a date. So the guy, he didn't like really push himself to beat me, so I win. And my teacher's looking at me like, you beat this guy? Hold up, you know. You're pretty good, kid, you know, but you're just too cocky for me and stuff. So the guy that I beat, Carlito, he invited me to Knickerbocker Park.
Oh, wow.
And I told him I'll ask my mom. And she let me go because of my uncle. And he played with me, and he taught me the ropes of how to play the money games and stuff. And I loved it. I was like, whoa, you know, like he put me to play for money. And I was like, whoa. And, you know, but I wasn't as good as they were, so he screamed at me and punished me a little bit so I can get better.
Right.
But always respectful, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
He never disrespected me. He always looked out for me. You know, he was a good guy with me, you know?
So, when was your first tournament?
My first tournament, I'm very thankful to a guy named Eddie. He passed away a couple of years ago. They used to call him Lefty Righty from Bushwick. He's also a great player. He wanted me to team up with a kid named Skinny. Me and Skinny really didn't get along at first. You know, because we used to hang out in the same block and we had moments there and stuff, but he was a good player. And I respected his game.
Righty?
He was a righty, yes. He was a very smart player. Didn't hit the ball hard, but he was a very smart player and he ran very fast.
Gotcha.
He beat a lot of good players himself. So Eddie tells me, you should team up with Skinny. You guys will make a great team. And we're both like B players. So we teamed up for the first time in a tournament in 102nd and 2nd Avenue.
Oh, I heard about that spot.
And we ended up playing some tough games and we won them until the finals. I believe we could have won the final game, but the park players were looking out for their own players and they got to my partner Skinny and he tried to argue back a little bit about it, like, hey, that's not fair, this and that. And it got to him and we lost by a few points and we took second place. So my first tournament ever, I took second place.
Congratulations. That's a great thing. Most people don't even place.
And then after that, my second tournament ever, I played in 49 Park.
Oh, wow.
Which I hang out there a lot, even to this day. And I played in an open singles.
Wow.
I, at the time, really didn't understand what was open singles, but I played.
Right.
And I ended up placing third place. As a B player in an open singles, I took third place.
Do you remember the year?
No, I was like 90-something, early 90s.
Okay, early 90s. Who would you consider your greatest mentors in handball?
Well, I was cocky. I really didn't look up to nobody at first.
Okay.
But one of the guys I would say is Joe Durso.
Wow.
He always called me the Warrior. And I always wondered, why this guy calls me the Warrior? So one day I asked him, I said, hey man, why you always call me the Warrior? So he tells me, you play too hard. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, you want me to show you? I'll get on the court and show you. If you don't want me to show you, then don't worry about it.
Right.
So I said, okay, show me. So he comes out and he shows me the lob. You know? At that time I played singles more than doubles. I was terrible at doubles at the time. And he shows me about the lob. And man, I gotta say I was grateful for him showing me about the lob because he was right. Hitting the ball, you know, trying to hit the ball 100 miles an hour every serve that they do to me, you're not gonna last 4 or 5 games, as he said, you know? So once he told me about the lob, I started doing so much better in singles and I got a good amount of accomplishments in singles until I hurt my knee. So it kind of cut me short from pushing myself to play and probably win more singles tournaments, but, you know, at least I was lucky to still play.
Did you ever get to play Durso?
I didn't play him singles. He was already past his prime.
Gotcha.
But I played him a lot of opposites, and that was like one of his best games. And I won like 90% of the games in opposites against him.
Wow.
But like I said, he was already past his prime, so
yeah.
I don't take full credit for it, but he still was amazing and smart. I mean, one time I had him 18-3. I blinked, and he had me 19-18.
Oh, man.
So he wasn't a bad player regardless, but
right.
he was still a little above his prime.
Gotcha. And other mentors you might have in the sport?
Well, Buddy was another one. And I'm not just trying to mention the greats.
Right.
But I respect them for taking a notice in me and giving me advice when, you know, I was already an 8 player. You know, and I had asked Buddy a while back, can he teach me how to play? Because I had asked another player who was a top player to teach me how to play, who had a few students. But he denied me. He said I wouldn't be as good as other players.
Gotcha.
or be a top player myself. So I asked Buddy, he goes, I really don't know how to teach somebody on the court and tell you how it is. But I'll give you pointers. And he gave me a lot of pointers, and as he gave me pointers, I became a great doubles player. And, you know, I owe him a lot for that because, you know, he didn't have to do that. And he did, you know. He told me, you know, stop hitting the ball cross court so much. You're hitting it to open ground. Hit the ball in front of you, lob it until you get a set up. And he was very helpful. And I appreciate him to this day for that. There's also one more.
Sure.
I played a lot of opposites in the game. I beat a lot of people right to 2.
Wow.
And even a few A players I got to beat right to 2. So
they were A players when you beat them right to 2?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you know, I mean, I lost to some, of course.
Yeah.
Some top B players beat me. I beat a few too.
Right.
But anybody a mid B or low B, I was really pretty much beating them up constantly. And I owe my backhand to Fred from Westforth. Fred, he showed me the backhand, and I never looked back again. That backhand that I developed at the time was amazing. Like, when he showed me how to snap that arm, I taught myself after that how to lob it, drive it, kill it, both sides of the court. And in opposites, I even got to beat Rookie opposites, which Rookie was amazing at opposites, you know. So it tells you. I mean, I lost the majority of the games against him because he was better. I hate to admit that, but he was the number 1 player in the game, and you know.
I saw him playing people with a chair in his hand.
Yeah, he couldn't do that with me, but
no,
but yes,
I don't think he was doing it with A's, but he was doing it with some B's. And I tried to get online and find the game, and I couldn't find it, so I'm still searching for it. But I saw it one time online, and I was pretty amazed by it. When you got your A card, remember what year that was?
I don't remember what year it was because
a roundabout.
Unfortunately, I had problems with the hosts.
Gotcha.
We just didn't click.
But you did get your A card.
I got it, but I wasn't invited to the ceremony or anything because I was a knucklehead at the time also, you know. I was a hothead,
Gotcha.
You know, and the promoter and I didn't get along, and, you know, but...
That happens.
But years later, which actually last year, he gave me my A card.
Nice.
Not that he gave me the A card, but he physically gave me the card, which was announced years ago at the ceremony, but I wasn't there. Right.
Gotcha. So, what would you say the years where you were the strongest, like your prime?
I got really strong between 95, you know, to like probably 2008, 2010, around there.
And what do you feel like your favorite parks to play in?
Well, Knickerbocker became my favorite park.
Okay.
The characters there were amazing.
Yeah.
You could love them or hate them, but they were amazing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And some of them love me and some of them hate me.
Gotcha.
But at the end of the day, they respect me to this day. You know, whether they hated me or not, they would always say, yo, you was great. And we had so much fun. I thank my guys from Knickerbocker Park for playing me all the time that they did because of them, I stood in good shape. Sorry for taking all your money, but you guys really helped me maintain my game and beat all the top players that later on you guys looked up to me to beat all these other players. Because when some of the guys would come to our park, I made the guys their money back because they would bet on me, and I got to beat a lot of the A players that came to my park. Sometimes something about home court advantage always helps win games, you know? You feel more confident at your home court.
Yeah, I can understand that. So who would you say in your history was your probably most fiercest opponent? Like, you know, you wanted to play them, but you also knew that it was going to be a real tough game.
Well, like I said, I was a knucklehead. I wasn't scared of none of the players.
Gotcha.
You know, you asked me to play, I play.
Right.
That's one thing. I had heart. You know, Rookie asked me to play, I'm playing. Emmy asked me to play, I'm playing. Cricket asked me to play, I'm playing. Dave, which he didn't ask me too many times, but we played. So, to be honest, I wasn't scared of none of them, but I had a hard time with Emmett.
Emmett was a great player. I saw him play. Amazing game, amazing hands. He was fast. He
was just smart. Besides having he was a total package, you know? He was very smart. And for some reason, I just couldn't beat the guy. For like 2 years, I played him, and, you know.
Was it singles or you guys were playing?
Singles, yeah, singles. I started singles this game. I didn't play good at doubles.
Right.
I was terrible. My mentality for doubles was like singles, and that doesn't work out too well. So I would lose a lot in doubles. But in singles, I was beating players that I wasn't supposed to beat as a B player.
Wow.
I was just good at it, you know. I was pretty good at running. I had 2 good hands. You know, I had a good eye for shots. I killed the ball a lot at the time. You know, when you're young, you can do all that. You know, as you get older, people don't see me doing the same thing, and they're like, "Oh, that guy probably wasn't that good." But you know, when you're young, it's when you're really at your prime.
Sure. Sure.
But Emmett would give me a hard time. He always gave me a hard time. You know, Emmett was number 1 first. Rookie came later. As Rookie was blooming into his spotlight, you know, I beat him a lot. I mean, one time he had Angel Marquez sit in the back to try to watch me and him play so he can show him how to beat a lefty, because he had a hard time with a lefty.
Okay.
And I was a tough lefty for him. So until he started getting better, and then the game started going back and forth, and then he started winning a little more than I was beating him, and then he dominated me way more than I beat him.
Did you ever get to play Angel straight up, one-on-one?
Angel Marquez, no, we never play straight up. Every time he would tell me play for 20, if I said yes to 20, he would say 50. He always tried to up the money, I don't know.
But you never get to play him?
No, I played him a lot in doubles.
Doubles. Gotcha.
I had a little vendetta against him that it made me play really, really good against him. That
he was one of the top players. I mean,
it was amazing.
Everybody talked about him, and you know, and it's amazing because his name is brought up quite frequently when I talk about like handball greats.
Oh, of course. I mean, if you mention the top greatest players in handball, he's in the top 5 without a doubt. You know what I mean? I know to him he's number 1 and he's the greatest, but he's definitely a top 5. I mean,
who do you think the top 5 are?
The top 5
all time.
All time.
All time.
I say Buddy. So see, that kind of disqualifies Angel from being in that spotlight because that's big ball.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Why was Angel more of a pink ball guy?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He played great big blue. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
But he was more of a pump ball player.
Gotcha.
But he mastered both.
So would he be 2?
I don't know his stats on number 1 in big blue.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see him playing tournaments too much. He was in his early 40s and he kind of like stopped playing in the tournaments at that age. I don't know why. He was still great and amazing. I still think he could have won.
Right.
So I don't know if he just had the lack of heart or lack of interest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it was, but you know, he didn't play.
Gotcha.
And some of the top.
Who would you be your top 5? You put Buddy at number 1.
Buddy's definitely in pump ball prime, number 1 player in the game. And big blue, I say Rookie, Timbo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those 3 are the ones that carry the torch the longest.
Yeah.
You know, those are probably the best 3 players in the history of the game. And whoever was before Buddy, that's a little.
Would you put Durso in that group?
No. Unfortunately, I love Durso. He's one of my idols. Don't get me wrong, but you know, when it came to Big Blue, he didn't really put in his homework to win tournaments and stuff. So, you know, how can you add him to the top? Was he a top player and played great Big Blue? And yes. Can he hang with Angel and Buddy? Yes. But did he do it in the tournaments to carry that torch to put him in the top 5? No.
Gotcha. What advice would you give to the youth that are just starting off in handball in order to improve their game and keep longevity in the game?
Well, working out. Do as I didn't do. I didn't work out, so it caused me injuries, you know, but working out is a plus in this game. Jogging is great. Do your push-ups and stuff, you know. Also playing a lot. Believe it or not, this game takes playing a lot. You have to play at least 4 times a week to maintain a top status. So you have to play a lot. Practice your shots. Listen to top players that you feel can give you good advice. Not all top players are smart, so some of them is just strong. So their advice doesn't work out for you. Best advice I could give is listen to somebody who kind of has a similarity to your game. If you don't hit the ball that hard, listen to somebody who don't hit the ball that hard. If you hit somebody that hits the ball hard and you hit the ball hard, probably take the advice from that guy also.
Yeah, gotcha. And all these awards you have here, Hen, what would you say out of all of them was the toughest battle out of all these tournaments you were in?
Toughest battle, believe it or not, even though I have that huge trophy over there and I have all these big trophies over here, is this little trophy right here hiding in the back.
Where was it from?
That was the CPQ $5,000 tournament.
Okay.
It was tough. The teams went there.
It was doubles.
Ready. Yes, it was doubles. This was the first time me and Rookie teamed up.
Okay.
To be a team.
Wow. That's good. Righty-lefty combo.
Yeah. People didn't really think we were going to win. They were like, you're not going to win with that fat guy. So I was always been heavy. So they didn't really believe that we could do it. They thought I would probably run out of stamina and lose, but I always had good stamina in this game.
How big was that bracket in there? Was it
64 teams.
64 teams. Where was it played?
They made everybody travel to Florida.
Okay.
To Miami.
Was it in the 90s or 2000s?
No, this was in the 2000s.
Okay. Wow. So you guys took one from Florida.
Yeah.
And who'd you play up against?
I know in the finals we ended up playing Jamie and Paulie, which are two of Rookie's students that were amazing for their age. They were amazing. They actually almost beat us. They had us for a little while, and we came back and ended up beating them 25-23.
Wow. That 5-foot trophy you have over there, that I see it came from PA. What tournament was that?
That was a tournament in Allentown.
Okay.
We went up there, and I ended up playing with Emmett. And we ended up playing in the finals against Herman and Snooker.
Wow.
Which are two tough guys, two heavy-set guys that it's hard to see the ball around, like myself. So it was a tough game, but me and Emmett, we had good chemistry. We played for a year together, me and Emmett. We ended up winning like 3 out of 4 tournaments. We lost to Herman and Dave in one. We also beat them in one. That was a tough team at the time too. Herman and Dave, they were amazing players. That team, to me, is one of the top 5 teams in the game.
Yeah, that's another question I had for you. In doubles, because you said you evolved into doubles from singles. What would you consider, like, I would say, top 5 all-time doubles teams, in your opinion?
I came a little later than, like, Carlos Centeno and some of these guys.
And Buddha.
So they know a little more history than I do.
Right.
But from when I came in...
Your experience.
We had Buddy and Emmett as a top team. Robert Sastre and Irving.
Ooh. Yeah.
Buddha and Carlos were sneaking their victories in there too. Later on, me and Eddie teamed up. We became a team to reckon with from the game 1.
Little Eddie or?
Yes, Little Eddie Styles.
Yeah.
That was my partner for 7 years.
Love his game.
Back in the days, people stuck together and they practiced and stuff like that. Although me and Eddie never practiced, but we played here and there and we just maintained our game, and we were probably one of the best teams ourselves. Then you had Rookie and Fred, Herman and Dave, Ray and Umberto, Tony and Dave. So it's like there were so many teams. I can go on.
So nowadays, what type of handball do you play? Mostly doubles?
I play doubles. I really can't run.
Gotcha.
So I just play doubles. I'm not really competing. I just play a game or two. In case I get hurt or my knee hurts, whatever, I can just quit and not play after the game and sit down. If I play in a tournament and I hurt myself, I feel like I got to play the next game, and my ego is going to want to play harder and harder, and I might just put myself in the hospital with a big injury, and I'm not trying to do that to myself.
I don't blame you. And I see you reffing a lot, and a lot of these promoters call for you to ref because it seems like you're a really good ref. I see you reffing a lot of games, which is kind of good because you're contributing to the sport as well.
Well, when I first started reffing, I put a lot of love into the reffing because I wanted to see fairness. I know how it is to play and be cheated and stuff like that, or seeing the referee cheat your opponent and all that. So I didn't like that when I started reffing, I was a little too nice. It kind of made me look bad being nice, like always trying to do the right thing for reffing. That now, when I ref, whatever call I made, I'm going to stick with. Because if I'm wrong, it's an accident. It's not like I woke up that day saying, I'm going to cheat this guy today because he looked at my girlfriend or something. Right.
I
don't get into that. That's petty. I go there and I ref my best. If I make a mistake, it's honestly a mistake. Because not for nothing, sometimes people don't realize this adrenaline is flowing, everybody's running this way, that way, and the ball bounced here, and you're just like, whoa, I didn't see that ball because the guy just ran across it.
Right.
So, I can't make a mistake. So I look forward to my judges sometimes, but unfortunately, I'm the only one that gets paid. The line judges don't get paid, so they're not really interested in making the right call, or they're not paying attention, so sometimes it can make me look bad.
And like indoor courts, outdoor courts, do you prefer to ref in the indoor courts, the outdoor courts, or it doesn't matter?
It don't matter. I love handball, and wherever the courts are at, let's go. Let's play, let's ref, whatever it is. I just love the game.
And currently, what type of regimen do you guys adhere to? You playing like 2-3 times a week? Are you trying to stay current? Are you gonna enter into any doubles tournaments possibly? Maybe like, over 30, over 40, those type of events?
Well, I try to play every other day.
Gotcha.
I gotta give my knee a rest. So I play one day, I try to rest the next day, and then and I'm also working out, so I try to stay pretty strong for my knee don't get injured again.
Well, that seems to be a common occurrence with handball players, is the knees and the hips. What advice would you give to handball players to do preventative maintenance or something to try to keep your longevity in the game?
You gotta work out. You're wasting your muscles. You're wasting so much energy in your muscles, and then you're not putting back. You could eat carbs and stuff like that. It's helpful, but you're not doing anything for your muscles really. With that. So working out will definitely keep you more long term. And watching your weight and stuff like that. I'm injured because I was been heavy, light. So going back and forth and then pushing yourself as hard as you did when you were slimmer, you're bound to get hurt.
Totally understand that. Any other advice you'd like to give to the handball community?
As from what I see going on now, I would say we all need to start getting along better. We all would like to see a goal of this game being achieved at a higher level. We criticize other games sometimes for making it higher than our game, but in our game it seems to be way more competitive than those games. But our characters, some of the players looking to cheat all the time, and athletes smoking cigarettes, weed, whatever it is, drinking on the courts, can cause conflict that you don't need in the game, or you don't even need in your life, because later on you can find yourself somebody who's scared of you, can call the cops on you, or seek trouble in another way, call his friends, whatever. So we all need to get along, respect each other's girlfriends, and just be cool, man. Play. We're all gonna be competitive, of course. We're not always gonna agree, but we don't have to be hateful.
Right. Gotcha. Totally understand. And nowadays, what seems to be your favorite courts?
Well, I didn't like them at first. When I first moved from Florida here again, it was 174th.
Okay.
But I got used to it, and now I love playing there. It's one of my favorite courts I play at.
Painter's Playground. Great spot.
I play at 49 Park.
49?
Yes, I play at 49 Park a lot.
What about Florida? You said you were in Florida.
Yeah, in Florida, unfortunately, the courts that I played at the most were Corey Ford. They were knocked down. Something terrible to see.
Right.
Because, believe it or not, those courts kept a lot of kids and people from doing anything other than playing handball. That, who knows, some of those people could go the wrong route now because, they're bored. They're bored. Sometimes people are bored and they do the wrong things in life. So it kept them playing there, kept them as a family, actually, because Florida's a little different in here, especially in the Orlando area. They pretty much got along a lot, especially Curry Ford. They acted like a family, and
nice.
It was sad to see those courts go down.
So what courts were you playing at in Florida when you were over there?
I played in Bob's house. He has an indoor court connected with his house, which was amazing.
That's
my friend Bob, shout out to Bob. And they have another place called the Kingdom for Jose the Jesus. He built them, and
where's
courts
the
are
Kingdom?
beautiful.
Is it in
That one is in wow, I forgot what place it is. It's a different part of Florida. It's Kissimmee. There you go.
Gotcha.
It's in Kissimmee. I played there. Then I used to travel to Brandon Park, which I find those courts to be the most closest to New York to play in. Brandon Park.
As far as like the quality and
Yeah, that's one. Those are in Tampa.
Okay.
Then my favorite courts all time, Spring Hill.
Oh wow, I like those courts too.
I love the wall. The floor isn't the best. It's kind of clayish, but I love the setup. Every court is built under its own cage.
Wow.
So the ball from the other side will not be coming to your court.
Right. I saw that. That's pretty amazing.
And if you lock the door, the people outside don't come into your court.
That's amazing.
Which happens a lot here and there. That
yes.
When you swing, somebody's walking, you can hurt your arm. So those courts are like the best for an event. Like if you want to throw a real professional event,
right?
Spring Hill is like the most amazing spot for it. And then Hollywood.
I was going to ask you about that. What do you think of those courts?
Hollywood is amazing. The courts are cool. I don't find them to be the greatest, but they are cool. I think the hangout, the surrounding is what makes those courts amazing. The beach is right there, the bars, spots to go chill out, the lounges, everything. You know, that makes that spot the most amazing spot in Florida, for sure.
Are there any more spots like in Miami? Have you played in Miami?
Yeah, there's a park called Sunset in Miami. A guy named Q Flores pretty much likes to promote that park. You know, so the park is pretty cool. It's a little too small for me. I don't know. I played. The guys there were wonderful. All the guys were really cool there and everything. So it was a cool spot to play. It wasn't bad. And you also got one of my other favorite spots, West Palm Beach.
Oh,
shout out to West Palm Beach.
There you go.
West Palm Beach, man. They have a lot of players. A guy named Mo Chet is always promoting that park.
Yes.
And he does a good job. He has a lot of C players that he's trying to help get better and everything. That I respect that from him, you know. He throws tournaments for them and everything so they can get better and he could, you know, improve their game and all that. So it's a nice thing that they do for the players, you know.
California, did you ever go?
Yes. I played in California. I went to Simple Green.
Okay.
That tournament was amazing. It's another tournament that we lost, unfortunately. Got to watch some 3-wall players also play on the side from us, playing 1-wall. Got to meet some of the best 3-wall players I ever seen in my life. Those guys were amazing. Samson was like one of my favorite players that I met out there, and a couple of other guys. And
did you ever try to play yourself?
Yeah, I actually played 3-wall in Florida.
Nice. I
got to be pretty good. I wouldn't say Samson level and stuff like that because I didn't push myself, but I knew what to do.
What about 4-wall?
I played 4-wall. I was good at the 3-wall, the 4th wall. I put it on the wall, which if I played a real good player, he probably would have capitalized on me, but I knew how to have fun playing 4-wall.
Small ball?
Small ball, actually, I was really good at the game. Did I compete? No. I played probably in 3 tournaments all my life. I didn't really like the game. I found the crowd of small ball to be boring. So I didn't really want to play it. Sometimes I went to the park, got like one time I played not Angel. I played Dorso and Albert Opposy against me and Caesar, and we beat them. You know, Caesar was like, "Yo, you're good at this. Like, you should play more, Henry." And I'm like, don't really like the game, man. I'm sorry, man. You know, but I play for fun.
What about pump ball?
I was great in pump ball. You know, if you ask me, I'm probably one of the top 5 in pump ball.
Wow.
In the new era pump ball.
Gotcha.
Not Buddy's time, Angels.
Gotcha.
The new era.
The pump ball, the larger ball, right?
Yes, I call it Bobby's ball.
Bobby's ball, right?
That's what I call it.
Bobby from Edison.
Yes.
Yeah.
He created that big, huge grapefruit that we started playing in, and I enjoyed it, man. I mean, I was playing right to Tuesday with that ball. I played good with my left. I played doubles.
Certain rhythm you get when you play that game. It's kind of a different type of rhythm than a handball, the way the ball bounces and stuff. But I enjoy it myself. It's fun.
I was lucky to play pump ball because playing pump ball helps you read the wrists and the body language of where the person is going with the shot. So that's why sometimes we made it look like it's easy, but pump ball is not easy, man. You can't just get on the court and think you're going to hit that ball. You know, and if they put a reverse hook or anything like that. The first time I met Rookie in pump ball, I knew him already, but I met him on the court in pump ball. I did a reverse hook from the right side of the court that I made it go all the way to the left side. And he ran all the way to the right thinking he was going to get the ball. He looked at me like, could I have been a miss hit? So I did it again the other way. I did it to the left with a reverse hook to the other way. And he ran the wrong way again. So the third time, I just hit it regular. I didn't put no hook, no nothing. And he ran all the way to the other side, and that was so funny. I could never forget that. You know, but, you know, he kept trying to play. Ricky was one guy who would not give up. He kept trying. I mean, I would play him his low serve to my high serve and beat him constantly until he started getting better. And then I would say, hey, we got to play high serves. You're getting too good at this. And then he kept, you know, taking his losses until he started getting his wins. And then he started beating me in pump ball. And then I would beat him once in a while. You know, like he would get the most of me. In opposites, we've also played opposites in pump ball. And we were 1-1.
Where would you say your strongest attribute is in handball? Is it your kill? Is it your lob? Is it cross shots, passing?
Well, it used to be the kill until I hurt my arm. When I hurt my arm, I took time to learn how to lob and play the game with Buddy coaching me, you know? And once I learned how to play the game, I think my strongest was being smart. You know, I ran like anybody else. I hit the ball like anybody else. I didn't outpower nobody. You know, it was just being smart. Moving the ball good, lobbing it, crisscrossing it, and all that, you know.
Here in 2023, who do you think will win the top trophies this year in singles and doubles? Who do you think?
Well, right now, Tavo is playing phenomenal. Taiwan is playing phenomenal. Timbo kind of looked like he kind of lost on the hunger, but his skills are superb that he's still keeping up. So he's still a threat to that #1 spot. And the guy that a lot of people didn't think was going to come back and make noise, Kadeem. Kadeem has been losing, but those losses have been picking up his game to the point where he just made the finals to the wall ball tournament.
Yes.
That is showing that this kid is just getting better and getting his game back as every game he plays. And then you got David Velez.
I was about to ask, where's David in this?
That's David Velez. That's my buddy right there, David. You know, he's from my park. You know,
Gotcha.
I always favor him for being from my park. And David's a great player. He was missing a few things. We discussed a few things. I kind of told him you need to add a few things to your resume. And I see him working hard on it, making it happen. And he ended up winning King of the Courts. And he's still trying to push for more now. You know, the tournament's coming up this month.
Yeah.
And next month, it's going to be the toughest tournaments of the year. And a lot of people thinking, you know, he's not going to do it. He's not going to win none of them because everybody else is in his way. But he's beating everybody there is to beat in the game.
Yeah.
The thing is, which tournament he's going to beat them again in. You know?
Who do you think's going to take that $10,000 tournament? You think Taiwan's going to do it again?
That tournament is going between 3 people. Taiwan, Tavo, and Timbo. And the 2 sleepers will be David and Kadeem.
Nobody else in the conversation?
Mix probably would have been in the conversation, but he's injured.
Yeah, he is. I heard that.
Who else? I don't see nobody else really working that hard. You got good players like Josh Garcia, Colleen, you know, not Allen. Allen don't play singles. Tim Torres. You got another sleeper from Nickelback who plays good singles and doesn't play all the time. You have Edwin that plays with Taiwan in the big tournaments.
Yeah.
Edwin is a sleeper also. He can play singles.
Yeah, he can.
You know?
And I see him training now, so he's
really
on
good.
The courts again a lot.
Yeah. Little Los also is a threat, but he hurt his knee, and who's to tell what's going to happen from there?
Yeah.
You know, but he's trying. He's trying. So he's another sleeper too.
Yeah, he's great at doubles. I mean, who do you think is going to dominate in doubles and opens this year?
In doubles and opens, Taiwan definitely fits that conversation.
He plays with Edwin.
Los fits that conversation. Kaling and Allen fit that conversation. I like that the team of Nazir and Timbo. You know? I don't know if they'll play again, but they played last time.
They played good.
And they looked really good on the court together.
Wow.
But I don't know if they'll play because, you know, Timbo's a little tough on his partners. You know, and I don't... Nazir's a very humble guy, and I don't think he would want to tolerate that. You know.
What about lefty righty versus righty righty? You like those combos with a lefty righty, or you like the combos with the righty righty? In doubles.
A righty lefty team is dangerous, especially if you got teams that don't really hit the corners and they hit the middle a lot. You're gonna have a hard time because if you're not picking on their weak hands, those guys are gonna dominate the middle, unless they're weak. But if you get a team like Allen and Kaling, they both know how to dominate the middle. You got a great lefty like Kaling. You got a great righty like Allen. They're going to dominate most of these games.
What about Josh and Paulie?
Josh and Paulie, I have a nickname for those guys.
Oh, yeah?
I call them the Eliminators. Unfortunately, they haven't won a title.
Okay.
They've been playing for a few years together, they haven't won a title. But they can eliminate any team onto the semis. They've made finals, but usually semis. So that team could be any team from first round to semis. That team is a team to like bet on. They really play great together. I don't know what's going on with their chemistry that they're not finishing the tournament. But they play great together. You cannot deny their skills.
A lot of the tournaments get very, very hot. Endurance plays into it and stuff.
And they're both a little on the heavier side. So it might be that, you know, because...
Well, even just age, like, I know that if you're playing 6 to 7 games throughout the course of the day, you know, the younger guys have a little bit more advantage, and the guys in the 20s have a little bit more advantage of the guys in the 30s or the 40s and stuff.
Now, Napoleon and Josh are playing great ball.
Oh, they are the top of the top.
They're beating most of these young guys like nothing. I mean, you know, it's just like I said, when you're playing against your own level, and you got about 3 games, because sometimes you get the first game and it might be a slacker game, but then you get 3 tough games. Even though you got the smarts, you got the skills, you still need the stamina. And I believe their problem might be the stamina, because they're both a little on the heavier side. They're not fat, but they're heavier, and usually if one is slimmer, he can probably hold up and helps the thicker guy like myself. Ricky was the thinner guy in our team. I was always a little thicker. So if I ran a little out of stamina, you know, hopefully he can carry the load, you know.
Right.
And if, you know.
My last thing, the Bs that are going to be A's eventually, who do you think is going to be the next A's?
The Bs of this year becoming A's?
Yeah. Who's on that list?
On the list right now, which I don't think there's a list because it's the summer just started. Yeah. But the guys that are looking good, from my experience refereeing the tournaments and everything, I would say Alexis Castillo. Okay. He's looking good. He's looking like the top B, supposed to be by the end of the year. He should be getting his A card for sure, the way he's playing. Gerardo is looking good out there. You know. He won 1 tournament this year, but I heard he's jogging and he's training. Miru Sai from Hoover. Oh yeah. Shout out to Sai, lefty. He's playing good ball. I like the kid. I sometimes try to give him advice. He's a nice kid. He plays very well. Just needs a little more mentoring, and believe it or not, I think the kid will be really, really good. Also, I would like to see Rob get his A card. Sure. You know, I think he needs a little more determination in him. I think he has all the skills every B player wants. He just don't have that drive to. He's still very young. I won't say to win, because he can win. I would say to take every title, like let's say like Tyshawn and D-Boy did last year. You don't have that drive. You know, I would love to. That's from Knickerbocker Park. I would love to see Rob win everything. I know the kid. I know his father, mother. The kid is like family to me. I love the kid. He's a great kid. You know. Anybody in Long Island? In Long Island. I think Pat He has what it takes. Robbie KO. But those two guys got what it takes. There's a couple other guys. I'm not gonna mention names because then other guys will probably feel like, oh, you left me out too. So I'm just gonna say there's a couple other guys that got what it takes, but they don't compete unless it's by their home courts. So they show only their skills at their home court.
Right.
So we're not really gonna acknowledge that because we out here all over. We're gonna see you play great over there. Oh, you play great over there. Now we're here in Brooklyn with another tournament. You're nowhere to be. Another tournament in Queens. You're nowhere to be. You know, so another tournament in the Bronx, which, you know, you're nowhere to be. So it's like, you're not getting an A card. You're not even going to be acknowledged. You're going to talk about the 10 tournaments you won in the last 3 years, but you only won them in Long Island. So nobody's going to acknowledge you like over that. Right.
What about out of the Bronx? You see anybody coming out of the Bronx?
The Bronx was Gerardo for sure. You know.
What about Dolo?
My boy Dolo, DJ Dolo. Shout out to DJ.
Yeah, he plays.
Dolo's a great player, you know. I've given him a lot of mentoring and stuff like that. He respects my game and he always asks me for advice. Good kid. I respect him. He's a grown man. I just say kid because I guess I'm too old. But Dolo's a great player. You know, he's got what it takes. He can even hang with the A games, you know.
Yeah.
Gets a little emotional and he needs to learn how to get a little stronger at that. If he did, I think he'd be definitely, you know. But he's DJing a lot this year, so it's going to be hard for him to.
What about Mo?
Mo, yes. I forgot about I almost forgot Lefty Mo. It's my little buddy right there.
Yeah, he's good.
Best chicken wings in the house. Twisted Wings. Shut up. Mo has what it takes. You know, Mo needs to learn more skills because he's got the super drive to win.
Yeah, he does.
You know, he's just an attacker. He attacks. He needs to learn a little bit of defense, get his right a little more skillful. He has a right. You know, he goes for the killers, he hits it hard, you know, but he needs to just put a little skills to his game, and that kid will be an A player automatically, you know?
Yeah. Not
criticizing them in a negative way, just saying, as a B player, y'all all need something. So I'm just trying to say what you need. Hopefully you take it from there. Don't take it like a negative remark. It's not. I just hopefully you listen to what I say and you take it from there. And hey, hopefully this end of the year I'll be saying, yo, you got your A card, buddy. Congrats.
And really appreciate you taking the time to interview with us today. And we do appreciate you being on the court still and also reffing. And we're looking forward to seeing you in 2023 and beyond.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thanks for taking the time, Henry.
You got it.